Well, good evening once again. I know I've missed a couple more days even. I'm not gonna lie, the first day I missed, I just straight up forgot forgot to do anything. Classic chair, okay. And the second day I missed, Triceratops skull, not what we're looking for. The second day I missed, I was very busy, and just due to outside circumstances, I wasn't really able to accomplish anything, I guess. And I've also, I think part of the problem too is I've just these last few days, I've just been having a lot of trouble focusing on, anything. Even, music or chores or anything like that. I don't know what's going on, but I just can't, sit down and work on something, you know? I don't really know what my deal is, but I guess it just happens sometimes. So that's pretty much just been, what's going on with me. There's a rock there, okay. I still have yet to put the finishing touches on the song for Gorecore that I'm writing. I'm pretty much, I think I mentioned in the last one, I'm pretty much done with it. I just need to, do the last little bit. I think I can get it finished up this weekend, before, because like I said, I'm going to be out of town for a few days next week, so that's going to be starting on Monday, and then I'm going to be back Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I can get the song finished. There you are, Nook. I'm pretty sure I can get it finished. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. This weekend before I head out for what I'm heading out of town for. And I really don't think it's going to take that much work. It's just going to be putting the final finishing touches on it, like I said, and then just mastering it and making sure everyone's happy with it. Hopefully nothing else comes up, but I really doubt it will. Everyone seems to be happy with it and really enjoying it. And then I guess I'll just have to see if I end up getting, more tracks to do for the soundtrack, because like I mentioned last time, I'm really not sure if I'm gonna get anything else. Hey Pippi, how's it going? Evening, Jay. Seaside in the snow. Don't you think it's so romantic, little hair? All of a sudden it feels like our village is the setting for some wonderful love story that totally makes you cry. Hey, did you want something or what, little hair? Need anything? An errand? I was just thinking of something. Nope, sorry. I guess I can't remember what it was. Alright, well, see you later, I guess. Yeah, so, I think just finishing that up this weekend is gonna kind of be my general task, and then heading out of town for a few days, hanging out with some friends, and coming back and getting back to it. I really think I just need a break. I think getting out of town and hanging out with my friends again that I haven't seen for a little while was really what I need right now. I've been exhausted lately. I don't know what the deal is, but every day I've been sleeping 9 or 10 hours a night, and when I wake up in the morning I'm still just really tired, and I don't really know why. I typically hate sleeping. I will always find ways to try and stay up late while also getting up early, which is horrible for my brain, I can only imagine. But I really don't like sleeping because I just have so many other things that I'm trying to accomplish, you know. I'm trying to write music, I'm trying to work on videos like I am now, I'm trying to work on games, you know. There's so much stuff I'm trying to do, and it's all really time consuming. And then, you know, I'm trying to take care of chores and stuff, and of course keep a life. And so it all just kind of trying to keep up with all of that every day, trying to keep up with my brain is not an easy or not always even a fun task. It's an interesting time being stuck inside this little head of mine, just trying to do everything I want to do, but I make it work most of the time. But I think recently I've just been burnt out and kind of tired, so taking a break from it all, getting out of town and hanging out with all my friends will be really just a really nice break from everything. So I'm really excited for that. Tonight is Friday night, which means it is a Severance release, new Severance episode date release. This new Severance episode came out. And so, as is tradition now, I guess, my wife and I went ahead and watched it together. We've been watching all the episodes, except for the first couple, like I mentioned before, once again. We didn't see the first couple episodes as they came out, excuse me, because we were rewatching the first season, and that, you know, rewatch of the first season kind of went a little long, sort of snuck into the like the timeline of the first couple episodes releasing. And so we missed them as they were coming out, but of course we went back and watched them, and we've watched every other episode since. And we've been really enjoying it. I talked about how the first episode I was like almost a little disappointed, but was also expecting that going in, just because it's the first episode of a season. It's the premiere. There's no way it's going to compare to the finale of the season before, you know? But since then, all of my, I guess, fears about how the new season was going to be handled have been thoroughly quelled. I'm very impressed by how the new season has been going so far, and I just really think this show is just phenomenal. It's really, really good, and it's definitely going to go down as one of the best shows I have ever seen. I don't think anything will ever top Futurama as my favorite show, because I love that show from start to finish. I mean, of course, the quality kind of goes down in the latter seasons, as with any show with like more than 4 seasons. But I really love that show, and I think just because of the nostalgia factor, that show is always going to be my top show. But Severance, I feel like once it finishes, will certainly be up there with Futurama for me, because it's just amazing. I think it was by episode 4, maybe 5, either 4 or 5. I can't quite remember. That I finally was like, okay, this is really good. This is on par with season 1. It is, it really is the same writers working on this show as were in season 1. And so that was the point where I was like, all right, this is working now. After season 1, and I was kind of unsure with everything. So yeah, point is, I guess I'm really happy with Severance. Have I checked these rocks already? I think I have. Yeah, I have. I have checked both these rocks. And I'm really excited about it. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because I want to avoid spoilers for anyone watching this who wants to watch the show. I 100% recommend anyone watching this does in fact watch the show. I think I need to go sell those peaches that have all grown. I don't know. I cannot find any fossils recently. I don't know what the deal is, but it's probably fine. What was I talking about? I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it. I think anyone watching this who is even mildly interested in what the show seems like it is from what I'm what I've talked about in regards to it, and hasn't seen it, should definitely go watch it, because it is just, I mean, I don't watch TV that much and I don't watch movies that much either, but it really does seem like one of the best shows currently coming out right now, if not the best, just in quality, pretty much in every possible aspect. The writing is amazing, the visuals are amazing, the music is amazing, it's just, the acting is amazing. It's one of the most consistently solid shows in every aspect that I've seen in a very long time. So I really do think people should go watch it if they haven't seen it already, because it's just really good. That's all there really is to it. And then after watching the episode, my wife and I just talked about it for a little while, and then because we're both really into theory crafting, though I will say my wife is much more into literary analysis than I have ever been. She was actually the first person to initially get me into the kind of literary analysis stuff, and even just this might sound surprising, but lyric analysis. As a music person, you'd probably expect that I was kind of into that from the get-go, but I didn't really care about lyrics for a pretty long time, and I think a main contributing factor there was just because since I was a kid, the main genre I've listened to was EDM. And of course, towards my late teens, I started to branch out quite a bit more, and I listen to a whole bunch of stuff now, but before then, I pretty much exclusively listened to EDM, and EDM either has no lyrics, or lyrics that are extremely direct and transparent in a way that's boring and doesn't really add anything to the song. And so because of that, I think I just didn't. Well, oops, I didn't mean to press that. I wouldn't say it's that I didn't understand the point of analyzing lyrics. Just that with the kind of music I was listening to, there really wasn't any point. And so I just never really got into it. But the kind of music that my wife was listening to, which I probably haven't mentioned, but my wife and I actually met in high school, so we've been together for a little while. And the kind of music she was listening to at the time was pretty much like, I mean, of course it had musical content. I'm not trying to imply it didn't, but like a huge part of it was the lyrics that had just a huge number of interpretations that anyone could come up with, you know, based on pretty much anything. The kind of like weird, obscure sort of indie pop kind of stuff. And that, like, the kind of music that she was listening to at the time and the interesting and like weird lyrical analysis that she was doing was sort of the initial catalyst for me for getting into all these other genres that I listen to nowadays. And I really don't think I would have branched out that much if, you know, I hadn't met my wife and she hadn't introduced me to all this music she was listening to, and I hadn't found it so like immediately fascinating. Like, I've branched out to so many more genres than just the like weird lo-fi indie pop she was listening to at the time, but without that catalyst I wouldn't have even noticed any of these other genres, you know. So that's cool. Just knowing that like there is that sort of connection there, I guess, of like, you know, I wouldn't be listening to so much interesting music these days without her. That's cool. I don't know why I was talking about this. I was talking about Severance, and yeah, my wife is really into just literary analysis in general. I think that, like, of course it initially started with lyrical analysis and stuff, but I think it really started to kind of become a really big part, almost like a hobby of hers, and a really big part of her personality when she read House of Leaves a while ago, which I know I've talked just a little bit, like I've mentioned in passing the book House of Leaves in this series before. But House of Leaves is an absolutely insane book, and probably the best book I've ever read, but not everyone really gets it, so you gotta kind of be in the right mindset when you go into reading it, which is probably the most pretentious thing I could say, but it's kind of true. In some ways it's like a textbook, and in other ways it's like poetry, and it's just it is itself in and of itself. It is inherently pretentious, just in like how it exists as an art form. It's just a beautiful book from front to back, if you're willing to give it the time of day, which I think a lot of people kind of aren't. You like really have to be in the kind of mindset where you are willing to give to the book just as much as the book is going to give to you, I guess. If that makes sense, which I feel like I'm just digging myself into an even deeper hole of pretentiousness here by talking about it in that way. But like, I feel like that's really the only way to describe it. Like, a lot of the time when you're reading a book, you're just expecting reasonably so, for the book to like give you everything you need. You know what I mean? The book is there to tell a story, and you're just there to experience it from start to end. And you expect that story to be good by itself. And yeah, that's kind of how it should be. But House of Leaves is sort of its own thing. It's like, I guess, an art piece in itself. And once again, I'm just digging myself into an even deeper hole of pretentiousness, but I really feel like that is the case with it. It's such an insane and amazing book, and you kind of have to be okay with it being a little bit pretentious, and with yourself being a little bit pretentious by consuming it. You know what I mean? So it's just a very good book. Why was I talking? Oh yeah, because my wife originally got really into literary analysis and stuff because she first read House of Leaves, and that's very much what House of Leaves is about. It's about literary analysis. It's a horror book about obsession, and in itself, like contained within the book itself, there are sort of, I'm just looking for fossils at this point. I really want to find more than just the one fossil today, because this is kind of crazy that I haven't found any more than just the one fossil for a few days now. In the book itself, there are like 3 different layers of obsession, because there is Will Navidson, who is obsessed about the house, and making a documentary about it, and there is Zampano, who is obsessed also kind of about the house, but mostly just about the documentary, and he writes like 1 million pages about this documentary that might be real or might be fake, but either way, he is very, very deeply obsessed about it. And then there's Johnny, who is very obsessed about all these writings Zampano has made about this documentary, about this house. And there are so many, like, I don't know if through lines is the right word, but like the plot is a very complex web of like, this thing affects this thing, affects this thing, and this thing, and this thing, that it kind of requires that very deep level of literary analysis from the reader in order to fully make sense of what's kind of going on, sort of beat to beat in the book, and in a way that kind of forcefully creates a 4th layer of obsession within the reader itself, where it forces the reader to also kind of become obsessed over what this book is and what story it's trying to tell and what the deeper meaning is. And it's just a very intelligently written book. Like, I don't know of any piece of media that has been able to pull something off like that quite so smoothly, I guess. I'm giving up on finding the other fossil. I will mail this this one fossil I found, though. And because of that, I think that sort of became the catalyst for my wife to get really deep into literary analysis in general. And so that's kind of, I mean, my wife is a nurse by trade, so that's her job. But like, I feel like literary analysis is kind of one of her like main passions, other than nursing, of course. If you're a nurse and you're not passionate about nursing, then it's probably not great. My wife is extremely passionate about nursing, which is really cool. But she's also extremely passionate about literary analysis, and she has predicted several things in Severance, like right from the get-go, pretty much immediately when they're first hinted at, perfectly. And it's kind of insane to watch because she's gotten really good at this. So that's been really cool. And then she also probably wouldn't have discovered House of Leaves if I hadn't been a little weirdo nerd in high school who was really into these Slender Man web series, Marble Hornets being the first one, and then Everyman Hybrid being the second, like, bigger one that I was kind of into. And then I sort of dragged her into that whole thing, and I showed her Everyman Hybrid. And in Everyman Hybrid, there's like one little bit where they like specifically bring up House of Leaves. Like, a character hides, one of the characters in Everyman Hybrid hides a note or something like that in a copy of House of Leaves, and so there's this bit in the web series where one of the characters finds that character's copy of House of Leaves with the note in it, and he's like, "Oh, House of Leaves, the book that guy won't stop talking about." And so Lucy was my wife was initially really like that alone piqued her interest in the book of House of Leaves. Like this web series she found really fascinating and like enigmatic, was very clearly inspired by this book called House of Leaves, and so she found a copy and read it and immediately fell in love. And so that's kind of a cool like crisscross that I hadn't realized until recently. It was like my wife was able to expand my own interest in like all these different genres and stuff, and then I was able to bring this like crazy book to her attention that totally launched this sort of era of literary analysis in her that's been going on for years at this point. So it's a cool thing, you know, relationships and their back and forth. It's very cool. I guess point is, I love my wife very much. So I think that's a good place to leave off this video. So I will see you tomorrow.